Save the Semantics, episode 150. It is August 7th, 2021. My name is Myro. This is the podcast where I ramble on for a bit about myself, about things going on that I want to talk about. And yeah, pretty much it. Not a whole lot to really talk about, I feel like, this week. I know it's been a little while since I've recorded. I couldn't find the right time to just kind of sit down and record, so it's been a little bit, and that kind of feels to kind of be the case again, where I just don't have a whole lot on my plate. But yeah, I think this week was alright for sort of evaluating how things are on like a weekly basis. I'd say things this week was pretty solid for the most part. Work was not too bad. I only worked 4 days this week. Took yesterday off. It was alright. I kind of treated it more like a work day just because, I was basically just studying the entire day. So not really that much of a break per se, but still, I try to take advantage of that and study and that sort of thing. So yeah, pretty good week. Weather is alright. It's nice where I'm at. The fires up in NorCal are pretty bad right now. The Dixie Fire being like the biggest one. And so we have some smoke coming our way, just kind of like residual smoke and ashes coming, in our direction from like, wind currents or whatever. So, the sky like yesterday was like sort of weird and it didn't look right, and it was kind of reminiscent of what it was last year. So yeah, not a super fun thing to take into account, but just it's relevant. It's just, California, where we are, just the heat, climate change, everything, blah 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 blah, right? Just that it's gonna be just kind of this is something we have to deal with on a annual basis, pretty much, right? At least that's what it's felt like for the last 4 or 5 years. There's fires all every year, somewhere. Last year it was, we were the ones that got hit by it, and then, the other places are just unfortunately gonna get hit by, fires. So, preventative measures, that's not something that I would know. But I'm just, just hoping for the best, really, and what the firefighters can do to kind of mitigate the situation and everything like that. So yeah, that's that. Yeah, really not a whole lot on my plate, to be completely honest. I'm a little tired. I feel like I'm still trying to work towards improving my sleep since the last time. I think, I don't know, I feel like on average, maybe I've been getting like 6.5, 7 hours of sleep. It really just comes down to me being more diligent about going to bed early, essentially. But it's just, I've already kind of developed this habit of going to bed at like 11 or so, which is, I don't know, which is fine, right? But I also need to get up early for work and stuff. So it just takes a lot to kind of change a habit, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's gonna be work. It's gonna be a little bit of work, to kind of get things right. And considering that my work is kind of picking up again, so I'll likely be working more hours within this next month or so. So it's just it's just kind of I'm gonna have to adjust for sure Like when I was super busy earlier this year, I felt like my sleep was actually better, and I feel like I brought that up last time as well. But that's because I had like a pretty steady schedule of okay. Like the only thing I really was concerned about at that point was work. Like work was like literally the only thing going on in my life at that point. Like there was just I didn't put my energy to work towards anything else. So I knew what I had to do. It was very routine. So my sleep was actually okay during that time. But right now, I'm trying to adjust for other things. I want to do right. I want to do other things outside of work. So I try to accommodate for that, and it doesn't always work out. So I just have to be better at maintaining those sort of things. And just getting better at it. Um, what the fuck else? What the fuck else is going on? I feel like I've been pretty good, um, in terms of like exercising and stuff. I've been running pretty routinely for the last little while now, and that's been nice. I feel that that's definitely been a benefit to my overall kind of well-being and stuff. Obviously, I still want to do more. I still want to do more. Um, I mean, I do a good amount of cardio already. I could probably bump that up. Um, Maybe do some strength training. That's like the biggest thing that I lack. I've never been one to do strength training. Like I never hit the gym to lift. That's never been a thing that I've done. Um, I've brought that up before about how I kind of want to do it, just to feel stronger, feel more fit. Um, so maybe that's something that I want to do in the future. I don't know. There's a lot of possibilities out there, but I just I want to give myself the chance to do that if that's within reach, of course. But oh fuck, man. For the time being, I kind of like what I'm doing with at least my cardio and stuff. At least running 8 to 10 miles a week, which is nice. So I'm just kind of trying to maintain that. It's gonna be again. I want to. I want to do the distance. I want to put in more miles, but it's just my legs. I just don't think my legs can really handle it at the moment. I think that's something that I need to consult a professional, a medical professional on, because my legs have been kind of fucky for a little while now. So yeah, I think those need to be checked up on. I don't want to force anything. So yeah, for now I think I'm happy with what I'm doing. And I can seek some improvements and and push myself a little more in the future. So yeah, that's what I've got going on. What else? Movies, shows. Come on, man. Anything? It's anything to talk about. Um, I've been playing a lot of Rocket League in my free time, just because that's been a lot of fun. I've gotten relatively good at it. Um, Maybe I'll hop on like a online tourney, but we'll see. So that's been fun. I haven't really dived into any story-based games. I started Transistor a while back, like I mentioned, but I haven't really continued with that just because I feel like I haven't really wanted to be honest. It's a pretty interesting game from the like the half hour that I've played, but I just haven't really had the motivation or incentive to kind of dive back into that. But it seems like a very interesting world. The art style is beautiful. I love the way like just everything, the character design and just like how the world is how the world looks is great. I love it. But yeah, so I'll probably hop back into that one a little later. I don't know when exactly, but I'll for sure get through that. What else? Shows, movies, anything like that? It's kind of hard to say. I just haven't Just haven't had the chance to do. Not really the chance, but again, I just haven't had the motivation. I haven't had the want to really watch anything new. So, you know, just is what it is. It's just one of those periods for me where I just don't have a whole lot going on, and I feel that there's not a whole lot that I can really give in terms of my thoughts and opinions on things, just because I don't got shit. But I still want to just kind of do this because it feels like it's been a little while since I last recorded, so just kind of want to follow up, give a little give some updates about what's going on and everything like that. So yeah, just trying my best to enjoy this weekend. I just got out of like studying for a little while. I'm sort of I'm trying to kind of acclimate back into kind of being around people and stuff. I mean, it's not really that big of a deal. I don't really suffer from any significant like social anxiety. I think I have a little bit, maybe. Again, not diagnosed, so I don't know for certain, but it comes up for sure. Like I was, hanging out with friends. We went out and there's just like a fuck ton of people, just like crowds of people. Not even that big, but still, it was enough for me to feel slightly uncomfortable, right? So it's gonna, I can't. I mean, I can. Like, I can just avoid people. I could just stay inside and, do nothing, but that would make me miserable. Like, I have to have some appearance in the world, for me at least. I like being out and about. Like, I like kind of doing shit, you know, just, going out and whatever. Like, I've always kind of liked doing that on my own or whatnot, or with friends if that's, if that's available. So, I just don't want to feel uncomfortable just being around people. You know what I mean? I'm sure a lot of people, can kind of feel similarly, just trying to reintegrate and stuff. I know it's already been like a couple or a few months since things have kind of pretty much opened back up, right? Obviously, there's the Delta variant, and now there's the fucking Lambda variant that's like popped up recently. But like things have been open for a little while now, so I think a decent amount of people have already kind of gone through the process of quote unquote reintegrating back into sort of a normalcy that it was pre-pandemic, but still, like, for a lot of us who haven't done shit, who've been, have become hermits like myself, like, it's gonna be work, man. Like, I've never really been that much of like a super like outgoing person. I mean, that's a little, is different, whatever. I can keep things to myself and still be present in public, but I mean, it's just like being in like a large being among like a large group of people is still sort of like a weird foreign concept that I still kind of and just need to adjust to, right? Like, that's just kind of one of those things that it's going to take a little time, right? And man, I think that I so for the most part, I'd say like working from home has been pretty good, but I need to be out and about a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, I need to kind of run errands to feel like I'm kind of doing something, if that makes any sense whatsoever. Like, it's just that's kind of why I'm like, I don't know, I don't know when the fuck that's gonna happen in the future, but I'm hoping that it would be like cool to sort of have a sort of hybrid work model, just so I have somewhere to be at other than my house, right? Um, yeah, it would just be kind of nice, and kind of going back to what I was saying about getting or maintaining, my physical shape. I think that doing whatever, going to the gym or joining, I don't know, intramural clubs, whatever the fuck there is, would be kind of nice. Like that's something that I've lacked, and I've talked about previously before. But I just think going from high school, where I was very active in so many different things, to college, where I was relatively active in some things, but still for the most part I was, you know, doing things on my own, right? Whether it, was like academics or whatever, right? I did some, I had some hobbies within, the university and that sort of thing. And then from that to now, where it's just me at my house, right? Like there's just, it's a pretty, it's a pretty significant decline in my like social circle, I don't know, my social presence. Like I just don't have a like I was always like interacting with people on a daily basis in high school. And then so from that, where I was always doing something and I was always a part of something, to now where, obviously I'm a part of, the company that I work for, but that's just, and then, but I'm still pretty isolated by myself, which is fine, because for the which I like, I like having that space. I like being on my own and that sort of thing. Like I like, functioning by myself, but still, I still lack some of the things that I used to do, which played a pretty significant role in my development and everything when I was, growing up, going through my, that significant period of time where I was, growing and becoming, myself, right? So I think I just, just to kind of put it plainly, I miss those things. I miss having those types of side things where I was involved in, I don't know, sports or, volunteer stuff, right? And it's not that I can't do those things. It's just that I'm still wary of, right, COVID and everything like that. So I feel like I can't fully embrace going out and doing those things, because I'm still erring on the side of caution. And of course there's like the time aspect of it, and my energy, like do I have like the energy to put into these things? I don't have the same capacity as I did when I was younger, right? Like I can't just do however long of school, like 7-8 hours. Is it like 8 hours? It's like 6 hours of school, 2 hours of like a recreational activity of sports, and then like 2 hours of like homework time. It's a lot of time, man. I was really doing way more in high school than I ever was in college, really. I mean, I was busy in college, like I was working part-time, 2 jobs essentially, and I had classes throughout the week, but it just, I had much more time to myself, way more time to myself. So I didn't really fill that time up with too many other things. So, my point is, like, now I really just have one focal thing, you know what I mean? Which is fine. It's cool. I can put a lot more energy and focus into that one thing, which is, my work at the moment, work and studying, which essentially complement each other. But I just I feel like I just want slash need another thing. I want to it would be cool to do some sports thing. I don't know what exactly, but that just could be fun, like a, weekly outing. Um, again, like going to the gym on like a daily basis, if that would be something that I might be interested in. There's just a lot of things that I want to do to fill the rest of my time up with. You know what I mean? I saw this one kind of interesting TED talk. Like I'm critical of TED talks because a lot of the ideas are very interesting, but the way the speakers present it, they present it like this like crazy like revolutionary thing. It's like, well, okay, maybe it's just kind of rethinking something in a certain way, which is cool. I like that. But sometimes the speakers kind of present it as this like super revolutionary thing when it's not really breaking new ground totally. And also the structure of TED Talks are pretty samey. That's been kind of a a criticism that's been noted in the past. I haven't really seen like any newer TED Talks. The one I saw was from a few years ago. It was this one woman. I forgot her name. I think she works in tech, maybe. I forgot exactly. Or she was a professor. Yeah, I think she was a professor of sociology, something like that. I forgot her name. But she was just talking about time and how we use our time and that sort of thing. And she was making some points about how we treat what is it? If there is something that needs to be attended to immediately, something that's of importance. So the example she gave was like, she did a study of people, of women who, and just kind of got daily logs from these people, how they use their time, like how much time they're putting into work, if they have kids, how much time are they devoting to their kids, and just everything like that, just kind of logging things. And so, the point she brought up was that how we emphasize focusing on things that need immediate attention. So, for example, one person that was part of the study ran into a situation where their water heater broke and stuff. So that was that was an issue that needed to be immediately handled, right? They had to call like a plumber to go fix it. And that took up a lot of their time during the week, right? And so the professor, she kind of shifted kind of the focus of that, where if there's something that needs you feel needs the immediate attention, then you will put the time in to work on that, right? So if again, if there was a situation, for example, I don't know, your gas stopped working or something like that, or the water got shut off, so you're not gonna have water for a few days. Like you're gonna try to find ways to like mitigate that situation and focus on that as opposed to anything else, right? Like you're gonna prioritize that. But I think so that was kind of that was sort of what she was talking about. I think the most significant point that I got out of it was just the math of it, right? So this is assuming you follow this on like a regular basis, right? So you work 8 hours a day and you sleep for 8 hours a day, right? More or less. So that's 16 hours out of your 24 days, 24 hours out of the day. So you have 8 hours remaining in the rest of the day. And then, so for those 8 hours, what do? You put time into, exercising, that sort of thing. Maybe, say, an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you have 6 hours remaining. Maybe you have kids. That probably takes up a little bit of time, so like 3 hours. And then you have maybe more or less 3-4 hours remaining, right? And that time is spent just doing whatever the fuck, right? And essentially her point was that you will have time. It's just how will you prioritize that time if you want to, right? Like, it just comes down to your own whatever. So, like, right now, like, I'm taking, 20 minutes, half an hour out of my day to record this. It's nothing, like, again, it's nothing revolutionary. It's nothing novel by any means. It's just kind of rethinking certain things, right? I just think that the one point, I'm sure she, like, if she had the time, she would have addressed it, but I think that just the biggest thing that takes away from you maybe picking up like a new hobby or doing new stuff is just your energy, and also just a bunch of other factors, right? Like, if you're hungry, like, if you're, maybe you're in a lower socioeconomic class, like, you might work more than those 8 hours, right? Like, there's just certain things that, like, these are very specific situations that you can't fully account for when doing like a general study or a survey, right? But I think just like the biggest factor that kind of links most people is just your energy. Like, you just don't have the energy to do all these different things, I certainly don't have that anymore like I used to. So yeah, I just think but it is good to kind of think about those sort of things and just be like, okay, well, I do actually have the time. I just don't want to do this shit right now. Like, I just want to chill. Like, you know what I mean? I'm just fucking tired because I've been looking at my computer for 8-10 hours a day. I'm like, I'm good. You know what I mean? I'm like, I'm not trying to learn a new language right now, even though that would be cool. That'd be sick, dude. But I'm just fucking tired. I just don't have the capacity to do the shit. You know what I mean? It just takes a lot of mental energy and everything. So, but yeah, I do have the time to do a lot of things. I have the time to catch up on shows and, read a book or whatever. I just choose not to because I don't really want to in that moment of time. So I just kind of push those things off. Or I don't want to, pick up, another hobby and that sort of thing, right? Obviously, there's a lot of other particulars that I'm not accounting for, obviously, but still, I think if I really wanted to, I can make the time to do other things and, pursue hobbies and that sort of thing, because I want to carve out time to do those sort of things. I feel like it'll be really healthy for me, like having more social interactions, even if that's not really something that I am necessarily what's the word necessarily I necessarily need. You know what I mean? Like, I can go on for long periods of time without really interacting with anyone, but that's just something that I do want, just based on prior experience. Like, I feel like there's always been like a net benefit from me going out and doing shit like that, random random excursions, you know what I mean? So yeah, I can always carve out the time. It's just a matter of my own motivation and everything like that. And obviously, the current situation we're in and how I can kind of navigate that. So yeah, I can find the time for sure. I just I just have to be smart about it and everything, and just kind of be patient too. I think I feel like, and I'm trying to get better at this in terms of just kind of, living in the present and everything like that. I've tried to meditate more consistently. I'm still not super good at it because I feel like I can only sit still for a very short period of time, but I always kind of, maybe not always, but for the last little while, since maybe during college and stuff, I was always forward looking. I was always thinking about what's going to happen in the future and just everything like that. And I feel like I couldn't enjoy, or, I feel like I couldn't enjoy things in the moment. Because I was just always thinking ahead, like, oh shit, okay, this is cool. What about the next thing, right? Like whether it came to, relationships or my career and that sort of thing. Like I was always thinking about the next step and the next step. It's like, just relax and just enjoy what the hell you have right now. You know what I mean? And sometimes I just get caught up in my own expectations and my own kind of ambitions. I mean, it's good that I have those goals set, but I think that sometimes I just have inflated expectations of things that are going to happen, because I always have kind of found myself let down in those situations. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't get this is a little while back, but I was like, I didn't really get the job with the company that I did. Obviously it worked out in my favor, of course, but before that, like, I was like, oh man, this is the company that I wanted to work with, and they rejected me, so I was pretty let down by that. And just kind of, you're just setting yourself, it's just like, and that's just something that I I also want to continue working on, is just not continuously just looking forward. Like, I think it's good to have a relatively healthy expectation of what's going to happen, but not to be like, oh, it's going to go this way, and then if it doesn't, I'll be devastated, right? Like, that's just kind of, it's not healthy, right? So yeah, I a lot of things to think about. But yeah, I guess just kind of being patient, being in the moment, but also realizing that you do have the time to do the things that you want to do, and things to do to kind of continue to kind of care for yourself, right? To take care of yourself, care for your community if you can, right? So, yeah, I just, I'm trying to be more conscientious about that sort of thing, and not, you know, continue to try not to beat myself up for little things, like things not going the way that I wanted them to. So, yeah, it's always a work in progress, always. And I think we're gonna leave it off at that. This has been Save the Semantics, signing off.